Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach preseason discussions, and in this one we're going to be going over the weekend, a jam-packed weekend of footy. I mean, I love the way they do it now. You know, the trials, they don't mean much more, but I think there is a bit more to play for, and I think teams, I don't know, just the fact they tell it, like a few years ago, yeah, I mean, you couldn't really watch the trials. I don't think they really telecast them. Maybe they did, but they really didn't seem as engaging, I guess. But I don't know, there's a bit more to it. The footy starts earlier. There's obviously, we had the Indigenous weekend as well. I feel like that's taken a bit of a backseat, I'm not gonna lie. I think it was a good game. Like, don't get me wrong, we'll talk about that game as well, but I think that whole thing has taken a bit of a backwards step. I still like it, but yeah, it's definitely not what it used to be. I sort of miss the World All-Stars versus Indigenous. Excuse me. But yeah, let us go through. It was a big weekend. Obviously we're not gonna talk about every single player. I'll try to focus on relevant players, and there's quite a bit. We got a little bit of maybe clarity, maybe potential players. One thing I will say that is apparent, I think every forward is basically underpriced, severely underpriced potentially, because the tackle counts are going to be ridiculous with the NRL.com scoring. You've probably seen it on Twitter. There was quite a few people putting up like relevant player tackle count differences. Supercoach Playbook, I saw a couple of those posts, and yeah, I think the only guy, funnily enough, Cooper Bye was, I think, the only player for some reason had -1 compared to the old Supercoach scoring for tackle counts, but I think on average it was like 6-7. Oh god, why did I say that? 6-7. In the positive, and yeah, they'll play, and I mean, they'll players with 10 plus discrepancy, like 10 plus more tackles than the old system. So I think it's gonna be one of those years where I think every forward is going to make a good bit of cash. It's one of those ones as well where I think, like, it's gonna be tricky, because like they're all gonna make money. I think all of them are pretty much undervalued with the new interpretations, and it's like I think it's going to affect like everyone, like all the forwards. I'm talking about forwards, obviously, primarily dummy halves, back rowers, front rowers, locks, like all that. So yeah, I don't know, like getting the guns, they're going to make money, but also the cheaper guys also are going to be really good value. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I guess if it affects everybody, like all the forwards basically on average the same, then overall everyone's going to be happy with their picks, and I think you can't get it too wrong. I think a lot of times, like, most of the players are going to be pretty solid. But let's go through some of the more notable mentions. So Cobbo so a bit of news coming out recently is that it's getting talked about that old Trey Fuller may be reprising his role at fullback for the Dolphins. Now, I think everybody who just watches footy would say the same thing. Trey Fuller should be the fullback, and Hemiso should be in the centers, and let him roam. But Fuller should be the fullback. He is way too fucking good, and the word coming out is that Fuller is going to get the fullback spot. I think, I mean, personally, he was going to be the locks of all locks. Like, if he plays fullback, he's going to be very highly owned. I will 100% be having him in my team, and I'll probably be going the 3 500k lightweight excitement machines: Keeney, Fuller, and and Falongo. But yeah, we'll talk about Fuller as well, I guess, in the All-Stars game. I mean, there's not too much else to say. Basically, if he's playing fullback, he's a slam dunk pick. If not, obviously not. But it does affect Cobbo. So Cobbo, I would expect Cobbo still to line outside Herbie Farnworth. That was the chat in the preseason. Obviously, Cobbo played in the centres in the trial here. He looks strong. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. Did he look that much fitter? I don't know. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. He looked pretty similar, but obviously a few of the runs, he was very powerful. He's a freakish player. Yeah, I'm not going to go him. It would be interesting if he was in the centres with Herbie, because then you're like, I could get a centre at the Dolphins for like 300k less. But if Fuller's playing fullback, then Hemiso is obviously going to play in the centres, and Cobbo will play. You would expect he'll play outside of Herbie. I still think Herbie. It's going to be hard not to go Herbie Farnworth, and then I think, obviously, with Bostock being out, that's sort of, yeah, Avarillo's probably not going to get a spot if that happens. It may not, but you would expect Zarko and Cobbo on the wings with Herbie and Hemiso in the centres. I mean, that is a strong back five. That's a very strong back five. So, yes, Fuller, big shout. Herbie, very, very big. Cobbo, I like, but it's just the fact the centres are going to be the undervalued players. Cobbo, I still think, is at a really good price, but I think I'm probably leaning towards like just going bulk centres at this point. Anyone else of note? I guess a couple of big. I mean, the Dolphins as a whole, it's great. I mean, if they can be fully fit this season, I'm excited to see what they can do. I really hope some of their obviously injury-prone guys can get through. Tommy Gilbert being one of them, and then obviously our boy Thomas Flegler. They have a really strong forward pack. We saw their strike with ball in hand. Like, I don't know. They could be a bit of a smoky if they stay fit, but we'll see. Obviously, Gilbert, I thought, came back strong. I definitely have no interest in Gilbert at the price. He's probably undervalued just because of the tackle counts, but the Dolphins have so many middle forward depth now. It's insane. You wouldn't expect massive minutes for Gilbert. I thought Morgan Knowles looked pretty good. The England international, again, another very solid middle. He's probably not of value either, though. Like, he's starting at a pretty, I think he's like 450 if I'm not mistaken. And then the other big one, obviously, Tommy Flegler looked great. I mean, obviously not against the strongest opposition of all time, but he looked really good. He had that impact. He's got an offload. He's got a try in him. Like, he's got that game about him. I think just with the amount of middles they got, it's going to be hard for me to go Flegler over like a Paseka. I still think you could run, like, if you don't want to go enough as your fourth front rower, and if you got a bit of extra cash, I still would prefer to go like a Flegler at like 360 over, a fucking Royce Hunt or one of these other, 230k guys. I still think Flegler, he might be a bit of a slow burn to start, but he'll definitely make cash and he'll definitely be like a solid play at times. So there's a world, I think, the money's going to be thin the way I'm trying to structure the team, so I don't think I could afford it. But yeah, he looked really good. Flegler. I was really excited to watch this game just for Flegler. I'm so excited to see him back in the NRL, and he looked really good. The Titans, so Farmani, the potential cheapie on the wing for the Titans. Honestly, didn't see a whole lot of him. Obviously, a big bustling winger. as expected. Didn't do anything too egregious, didn't do anything too incredible. Who knows? I mean, he was tipped to get the wing spot. Surely, like Jalen DeGroot, funnily enough, I thought Jalen DeGroot at fullback was pretty good for the Titans, but like, I think a Farmane or even like at Max Feeney, like just a big wing, you want a big bustling winger like this over like a DeGroot. Surely Hene does not do what they did last year and put like a fucking DeGroot on the wing. It just makes no sense because you need the yardage, and so we could get a cheapie, but there are some. There's potentially some really gun cheapie centre wings if they get the spots, and I don't think Farmane is one of them, but he could. Like, it really depends on team list. If there's no other option, because I think, I mean, I feel like we are going to get three pretty good cheapie centre wing options, and then my 4 starters are going to be pretty primo guys. So I only have space for 3, and Farmane could be the guy that misses out. But you never know if you go him. He just has to score like a couple of tries on the trot and make good cash. So he is an option. If he gets a spot. Lachlan Ilias, I thought was pretty good in the halves. I wouldn't expect him to obviously get the spot, but he's depth there, I guess. Mo Fotuaika was strong. I mean, people were talking about Mo, and again, like he's undervalued. Like you can't go too wrong with the props. Like, I think having a Payne Haas, you don't have to, but it's like, it's hard to go against him just with the now, like, the extra points they're going to get on top of the already insane average. But that second front row spot, you can go cheaper, you can go a bit more expensive. You're going to get extra points, you're going to get extra money from those forwards. So I think they're all pretty good value. And he was good. He was good, but he does do that, Mo. He has these great games, and you're like, wow, he could be like an absolute stud, but just doesn't really consistently do it. Cleese Haas, again, not really an option, but I did think moving into the front row, he's been far better, Cleese Haas, which I guess makes sense following his brother. Cooper Bye, obviously a potential cheapie option. Just an absolute gun. He's an absolute gun. He is one guy that you could. He's not going to start, obviously, but off the bench, he could get good minutes. Like, he definitely could get good minutes off the bench. He's that type of guy. Even with limited minutes, he's going to have a really good PPM. I did say at the start he was one guy that lost a point in tackles. Honestly, I think that's a bit of an anomaly. There's going to be far more like third-man tackles that get awarded than... Obviously, I don't know. It was a bit of a weird one that he lost a point, but yeah, Cooper Bye, it's going to be, I think he's going to be very popular even on the bench. I think he's only second row, right? He's only second row forward, which makes it a little bit more annoying because, again, there's a couple of good back row cheapies potentially as well, which would shake things up. Not too much else. I mean, I guess Curtis Morin, another front row cheapie that you could have as that 4th guy. I just wouldn't expect the minutes for Morin. He's never been that type of guy, but he was solid enough. Moving on, Raiders putting a bit of a score on the Storm here. We'll just look at the team list, yeah. Tamale looked really good in the centres. Obviously, he's going to play on the wing. He's interesting. I was honestly very tempted by him before, obviously, the new stat system and centres getting a big boost. So, I do think he's undervalued. Another full season. Obviously, had an injury-affected season last year. So, he's at a good price, but... I just think there's too many like center wings or primo centers or even like slightly cheaper centers that are going to get a bit of an uptick, that it's just hard to justify the wingers. Obviously, again, they could go on a try spree, and the wingers are obviously still going to score very well if they bag a couple early on and stuff. But I think the centers are they're just hard to pass up. They're very hard to pass up. So as much as I was keen on Tamale before the change, I don't think so. Dane Laurie. I love Dane Laurie. He is so good. I feel like he could get a spot somewhere. And it could be the Raiders. I mean, depending what happens with Ethan Sanders, like, I think Sanders will do well. But if Sanders struggles, or if there's an injury, Dane Laurie coming into the halves, I think he could do a great job. Obviously, he's not at all relevant at the moment, but interesting. I honestly, before this game, I forgot that he signed with the Raiders. So a bit of an interesting one for Sanders. Obviously, young Kobe Black as well, people are talking about as potentially putting pressure. I think Dane Laurie, honestly, more so would be putting pressure on Ethan Sanders if he doesn't find his feet early on. But you know, I think Sticky would give Sanders a good crack at it. I don't think he'd be quick to pull the plug or anything. But Dane Laurie in the wings there, I've always been a huge fan of him. Owen Paddy looked really good. Again, I wouldn't expect that many more minutes from Paddy. Not going to be relevant. Well, Tommy Starling is starting. Matty Nicholson, again, he's just a little, like, there are so many good value second rowers. I think there's just better options, and he's probably not going to be he probably, I don't know, is he going to start over Hosking? I don't know. That's honestly a toss up. But I wouldn't think too much of it either way. And then not much else for the Raiders. The Storm, I thought, honestly, Moses Leo, I thought looked strong. Honestly, Marion Seve looked strong as well. Like, Nick Meaney's actually come in and out of my team a few times as well, just because of that center. He'll be the goal kicker. But if I'm being honest, like, Meaney, he's rock solid. He's pretty good in attack. Defensively last year, he was very poor. He's also leaving at the end of this year, right? Like, he signed to Perth. So I don't know. Could a Moses Leo, obviously big raps on young Leo. I thought he was strong. Could find his way into this team if Meaney's defense struggles again this year. You never know. It could happen. But obviously that's not going to happen at the start. But we'll see. We'll see. There's a couple of good options there. Moses Leo obviously would be the pick, because I don't know his price, but surely he wouldn't have played many games last year, so he should be pretty cheap if he does get a gig. Davey Mawale, I thought was strong, as well as Hetherington in limited opportunities, but I think they'll add a good little punch actually. I think Mawale, again, I don't think it's going to be too relevant Supercoach wise, but I think he's one guy that will do really good work at the Storm. I think he's just that type of guy that will flourish at the Storm. This guy here, Gabriel Satrick, he was phenomenal in the first stanza where the Storm actually had some footy. He was electric at dummy half. I didn't know much of him. I honestly I mean, I've probably seen him play before, but I really didn't give it much mind. Obviously, Harry Grant's there, so he's not relevant, but I just thought I'd mention he was phenomenal. He was great. He was very, very good out of dummy half. So another potential product there coming through the Storm. Lasati, obviously the big one here. Played in the back row, which is good. He's cheapy, or 260k, I think, Lasati. And I mean, everyone's going to have him if he's starting. And he probably, like, the one questionable thing, right? So Joe Chan obviously played in the All-Stars game. Trent Liero played lock in this one. Trent Liero is suspended for the first couple of games. So Lasardi is definitely going to be playing round one. The big question mark when Liero comes back, I guess it just depends. Like if Lasardi's starting on an edge round one, then you would expect him to just keep the spot. Obviously, if he's starting like a lock round one and Joe Chan's on the edge, then starting with Lasardi is a bit of a potential issue. But personally, like I think Chan off the bench, I think he adds good punch. I've been pretty impressed with Lasardi. I think he's a good young player. I thought he was pretty strong in this one. He was a guy that I think he made like 40 odd tackles in this one. He probably played like 60 minutes. His base was great. Took a lot of tough carries. He's going to be hard to pass up if he's in that round one team. And he could be like, this is the thing with like Lasardi and also Paxton to an extent at the Titans. If these guys are starting, it makes your team structure so much easier, right? Because you honestly, if Lasardi's playing on an edge, I am, especially with these updates for the change in the tackle counts and the way the stats are scored, I'm extremely happy to play a Lasardi in my 18 man team, right, as one of my reserves. Whereas if you got another, like a centre wing, it's a bit up in the air, but a back row cheapie, I'm happily to play him, and then you can spend money elsewhere. You don't have to have like a couple of 400, 500k guys on your reserves that you're comfortable with. So it makes a huge difference if he's going to be there. So time will tell. Not too much else Supercoach wise in this one. Again, there's obviously a lot of other players we could talk about, but we'll try to keep it not fucking the longest video of all time. Cowboys Penrith, obviously a bit of a mismatch here. The Cowboys look good. The Cowboys did look good, and at the end of the day, you can only play what's in front of you, and it was their full strength team. It does look like Payton has seen the light. Clifford will be in the halves. Purdue will stay at center, which just makes sense. Like it makes Drinky play better. Like it just the combos. Clifford is a much more natural half. I know Purdue's come through in the halves, but he just looks better in the centers at the moment. Again, he could turn into a very good 5'8" later in his career, but just for now, keep it like this. Clifford, Dearden, Purdue, Drinky. Interesting enough, so Chester is one of those potential cheapies that could be really good. He could also be a bit of a trap. The latest is that he's tipped to get the spot, but the problem is that with Purdue obviously in the centers, that leaves one less spot. And Zach Labert, I really like Zach Labert. I think he's a really good player, really rock solid. But he's potentially, I think Zach Labert potentially suspended for round one. So I don't know if, Chester might get the spot and Labert misses the game through suspension. Or I can't remember exactly. I think if they, and I hope, if they take the guilty on the tackle, it's just a fine, which would be ideal, because then we're hoping that they're both available, and if Chester gets the spot on merit, then beauty. Like, you pick him. Obviously, if he drops out at some point, that's unfortunate, but you'd probably take the risk. I think Chester in the centers, again, like a center, he's an upside guy. I'm not expecting huge things, but I think there will be some big scores for Chester. He is an electric player, so it'd be very interesting to see what happens with the Cowboys center spot there. But Chester potentially very good. I mean, I don't really know what to say about the rest of the Cowboys. Obviously, Drinky, he banged out 140 minutes. Like, he looked really good, and he's a goal kicking fullback. He didn't lose too many points, obviously, with the new system, but all the fullbacks will eventually lose points just due to the fact the centers are going to get a lot of those try assists. But yeah, he looked great. He looked great through the middle, but again, you have to take into account who they were versing. So I don't know. I still, as good as Drinky looked with the goal kicking, the Cowboys have a good early draw. I don't know. Especially if Fuller, well, put it this way. If Fuller is the fullback, then I 100% will not own Scott Drinkwater. If Fuller is not fullback, then I still have that flex spot up for grabs, and you can make a case. You can definitely make a strong case for Scotty Drinkwater, but I still think he's just too expensive, I think. But yeah, we'll have a look. We'll have a look at the team again after this trial weekend. I'll put up a video of an updated team to see what we're looking like. But I can definitely understand it. I can definitely understand going for a Scotty Drinkwater with the goal kicking, but yeah, it's tough. Reed Marnie, I honestly, dummy half is a position I just don't know what to do. Because again, it's very similar to the forwards, like the front row, back row. I think all the dummy halves are going to be underpriced, right? Because they're just going to get less missed tackles. They're going to get more tackles in general. So they're all going to be better, but that means Harry Grant's also going to be better. And Harry Grant's already undervalued. So I don't know. I'm leaning towards just paying up for Grant and obviously hoping he doesn't get injured and just hold him all year and then do what you have to for the games he misses. So, but there's good value. There is good value in the other dummy halves. It's just a matter of is their value more worth it? Like, are they going to make much more value than Harry Grant's going to make equivalently? So that's what I'm tossing up. I don't know at the moment. I'm really torn on the dummy halves. But obviously, Marnie, he looked good. He did look good. Yeah, I don't know. Hill and Lukey, he's locked in, baby. He's locked in. Maybe. I mean, he probably is. I think the Cowboys do have a really good draw to start. Lukey will definitely start on an edge with Nanai being out for an extended time. It'd be nice to have a piece of their potential attacking weapons in Lukey. And, yeah, I mean, the thing I'm most impressed by, obviously the try scoring is always going to be there. He's an absolute freak, but he's doing the tough stuff. Like, even in these two trials, he's getting back on those kicks, the third, fourth hit-ups. He's getting back there and getting through the tough yards. Like, I've been really impressed with Lukey in the trials. He's not shirking it. He's getting in and doing the dirty stuff. So I've been very impressed with just how he's gone about it in the 40 minutes he's played in both games. So yeah, it's just going to be hard not to go him. Yeah, very, very tough. Not too much else. I mean, obviously there's a lot of potential cheaper front row forwards. They've got a lot of options. I actually thought we'll talk about him now, but Lars in the All-Stars game, I thought he was fucking phenomenal. So you got Caden Lars, Thomas McKaylee, Matthew Lodge. As much as Lodge is not a great guy, but he does provide good impact. So you've got some pretty good depth off the bench in terms of impact forwards. So I don't know what they're going to do. It'll be interesting. Obviously, I got to remember there's 6 bench players. So yeah, it makes... And that's the other thing with the dummy halves, right? Like, most of these dummy halves I'm thinking about, there's going to be a reserve dummy half on the bench. It just makes sense. With 6 benchies, you're going to have a dummy half / utility, right? So they could get a spell at any time. Now, I guess the same is probably true for the Storm. Like, if the Storm get out to a big lead or something, there's every chance Harry Grant gets a spell with an extra dummy half on the bench if they haven't used all their interchanges. So it could work both ways, but it's just hard. It's just hard not to just lock down the certainty. The Panthers, I don't think there's anyone else. I don't think there's anyone to talk about in this one. Yeah, there's no one. Obviously some decent young players, but nothing Supercoach relevant. Moving on, Warriors Seagulls. Warriors were poor in this one. Obviously not great conditions, but they had a pretty strong team coming into it. Manly, definitely the lesser experienced team. They look pretty good, Manly, I thought. The Warriors, honestly, a guy... Now, it's not like he played incredible, but Leotawa, I gotta be honest, all these centers were just popping up. I'm like, there's so many value centers you can go now. Like, I don't know if I would go like a Leotawa, but just there's so many of them that, yeah, they're just gonna get those extra little bat-on try assists, and he's obviously a big body. He's always had good base. He didn't quite live up to it last year, but he's got the potential. Again, I don't know if I'd go him, but it'd be funny if a Leka Halasima actually started in the centers for the Warriors. It'd be very interesting if you would go him at center. I don't know. Anyone else? I mean, Tanner Boyd I thought was pretty poor. The thing I was really hoping, annoyingly, Tamara Martin got injured in the All-Stars game, because I was hoping Martin had a bit of a blinder, and there would be the potential with Metcalf being out that Martin and Chanel Harris-Tavita would be the halves. And I would 100% have gone Jonah Pezzett and Tamari Martin as my two cheapy 5'8". I think it's one position that I would be so happy to just write off. And they could score well. But the 5'8" spot, I'm like, there's no Campbell. Obviously, Munster's always rock solid, but I think that there's too much money spent elsewhere. I can't afford like a Munster. Like I would have been happy to write off 5'8", but we'll talk more about 5'8" when I have a look at my team again. But I was really hoping Martin would have a blinder. Now there could be a sniff that Martin could get the spot over Tanner Boyd. I still much prefer a Tamara Martin, but I don't know. Tanner Boyd, I guess he's solid enough. He's got a long kicking game. I don't know. He doesn't really have anything else, but we'll see. There could be a chance. But even guys like Jackson Ford, Aaron Clark with the new system, all these guys are they're all undervalued. Maybe not Ford, maybe not, just because Mitch Barnett's going to be back. And you've got obviously Fisher Harris. So Ford probably not, but Aaron Clark, potential guy you could go is that primo second row forward. But again, I think there's a lot of good value options, so I probably wouldn't. Manly, who we got to? I mean, obviously the young guys in the halves were outstanding. Joey Walsh, Onatoni, Large were very good. I thought Blake Wilson was pretty rock solid as well. I mean, I don't know. I thought he was pretty good at the doggies. Obviously, he didn't have a gig there for long, but I think it's a good signing for Manly. I think Wilson's got something about him. Anyone else of note? Not really. Yeah, I thought they were good. Oh, that's who it was. Viliami Fafita was strong off the bench as well. They had some good punch off the bench, actually. I was sort of watching this one as I was doing something else. I wasn't really listening to the broadcast of it, so a lot of the players I wasn't too sure of. But they were good. They were good, Manly. I thought the Warriors were pretty poor, but Manly's young guys were good. Then West Tigers Roosters. The West, Wes putting on a good show here, and we're going to talk about one guy in particular, Macassini. Wow. I mean, he's been talked up a lot. What's he still 18? Is he still 18? Brother. I look at these kids, I'm like, what the fuck, man? I mean, he's an absolute freak. So, here's the thing, right? This is what I'm talking about. You had the Titans winger, Tommy Chester, the Dragons winger coming up, and probably Macassini are the four. They're the four of, the big ones at the moment. Obviously, things can change pretty quickly, but Macassini is interesting because, I don't know. I've heard mixed reports that Jarrell Skelton was getting the nod, and then people have been saying Macassini's going to get the spot. I don't know. Honestly, Stafford Toa, is his spot really, locked in to the centers? Obviously, Taylor May is one of the centers. Who's the other winger? It's someone obvious. I'm just... Taruva. So, yeah, Taylor May, Taruva. And then, at the moment, it's Stafford Toa. And then, either or, Macassini, Jarrell Skelton. And, I like Stafford Toa. He has some games where he's, fucking prime GI. He's unstoppable. But, consistent-wise, I don't know. Would you run Macassini and Skelton instead of Toa? Potentially. I don't know. The big thing with Macassini, right? If it was locked in that the Titans winger, Chester, and 2 were locked in for round 1, you could go 3 of those guys, and Macassini, the Tigers, have a bye in round 1, which makes it tricky. Macassini is arguably the best of the bunch, and he genuinely could be a play every week. He could be a genuine Supercoach gun, cheapie of the year type player, right? So if you're unsure, maybe it's not, we don't have confirmation, I still potentially would go Sedu 2, Chester if he's named, and then Macassini over the Titans winger. I apologize, I forgot the name. I think it's Farmacelli. No, it's not Farmacelli. I apologize, but I would potentially go Macassini over the Titans winger, and maybe Macassini doesn't get the gig from round 2, but he's too fucking good. He's too good that he's eventually gonna get a crack in the grade, and then all of a sudden you've got him there before other people have to trade him in. Now, the trade-off is that the Titans winger could score 3 tries on the trot, make a couple 100k really quickly, and then all of a sudden you can trade him down to Macassini. So it's a bit up in the air. It's a bit up in the air. I would love if we got some confirmation, because Macassini, he's too good not to be in that Tigers team. Come on, bro. He's too fucking good. He's an absolute gun, but we'll see. Hopefully we get some confirmation either way what is going on there. Who else? I mean, Jock Madden, obviously an experienced campaigner, did well. Sione Fainu, I really like him as a player. Not really Supercoach relevant, but I thought he was good. Anyone else of note? Not particularly there. The Roosters, what a name, Rex Bassingthwaite. Bassingthwaite? I don't know if it's been confirmed. Is that Natalie Bassingthwaite's relative? Bassingthwaite. The more I'm trying to say it, the more it sounds ridiculous me saying it. Bassingthwaite. It's a great name though, Rex Bassingthwaite. What the hell? That is a name and a half. But obviously, he looked good. Potential future of the Roosters fullback there. Who else do we have here of note? Sia Wong was strong. Interesting if he does get an edge spot. But again, I don't know. It's tricky to tell. Like I'm pretty locked into Angus Crichton to start the year. If I'm being honest, I feel pretty good about an Angus Crichton Rooster pick. I still really like Naf White. I'm finding it hard to spend that amount of money on Naf White when there's other good value picks and there's a lot of money to spend on your centers. So as much as I want a Naf White, I might have to forego him. Sia Wong, I think I just prefer like an Angus Crichton for a little bit extra, if I'm honest. And then yeah, not too much else to talk about for the Roos there. Moving on, Knights versus Bulldogs. Oh brother. Oh brother. The fucking Knights, man. I just don't understand. I think one of their biggest fucking issues, fucking Phoenix Crossland at dummy half. Now, he's a goer. He a lot of times he'll set the line speed. He can be good defensively. But fuck me, he is so shit out of dummy half. Like, don't get me wrong, their attack was pretty shit regardless. There was just a lot of like, and again, like it's a tough one because obviously that was the issue last year. I think it was a bit different this game because there were new combinations trying to figure it out. Like it's just a work in progress. I think they will have points in them, but and there were poor stuff regardless. But boy oh boy, Crossland's serves out dummy half. The amount of times he just can't pass the ball in front of a fucking half to save his life, which shuts down the attacking play from the fucking get-go. So personally, I would again, I get it, like just the defensive aspect, but they've got a couple of really good young dummy halves in Matt Arthur. They didn't even play this one. Young Matty Arthur, and I can't think of the other dummy half who played the first trial, but he was also really good. I'm blanking on the name. We could go. I'm actually going to go back after this and check, but honestly, like your dummy half getting the pass right is so important to your attacking structure, and I think that's one of the big issues with the Knights. Just the service at dummy half is fucking abysmal, but yeah, I don't know. What can you say? Sandon had a bit of a shocker. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, the fact Sandon played pretty poorly. Is Fletcher Sharp now going to move into the halves with Dylan Brown? I still don't love Fletcher Sharp in the halves. I will die on this hill. Again, he could turn into a great half, 5'8", but I don't think it's what's going to really help the Knights this year. I do think the Sandon, Smith, and Dylan Brown combo is the go-to this year, but we'll see what happens. Dylan Brown, I thought was good. I'm still, again, like this is the thing, right? Like I'm thinking like Dylan Brown, my number one 5'8", he's 500, 540, give or take. I would much rather just fucking. But there's no other like cheapy 5'8" available really. I think the cheapest guy, again, we'll have a look at it, but I think the cheapest guy who's playing other than Pezzard is Cody Walker, who's like a tick under 400k. Now, is it really worth going 100k less and taking the old legs of Cody Walker? I don't really think so. So it might just be a case of Dylan Brown just bang out some decent base, but I honestly, I don't know. Greg Marju was his bustling, strong fucking best, but yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know what to think about the Knights. I don't know. And like, is Ponga going to be fit? Is Sharp going to be fit? He's out of this Hemi thing. He got pulled out of this one, so fuck me, man. I don't think you're going to want to have too many tickets in the Knights to start the year. They could come okay, but... And also the back row. So Jermaine McEwen was pretty heavily picked at 400k to start the year. But Thomas Cant, he's been good. And we also don't. So I was sort of waiting to see when they scored a try. Was Sanders Smith gonna kick over Cant? But they didn't score a try. So who the fuck knows? I don't know. We'll cross the bridge. Vegas round 1. See what the hell the Knights roll out with. And then the doggies. So the doggies, interesting. I gotta be honest. Like, Crichton is interesting. It was also very interesting that he played on the left. He played on the left and Sherry went to the right. He's goal kicking. I mean, I think Crichton's like 600k. He's worth a look. He's definitely worth a look because he's got some of the best hands in the game, so he's gonna get try assists. I was honestly keen on Sherry, but if Sherry's on the right, they're just gonna go fucking left. They're gonna go left all day. If Sherry goes back to the left, I'm honestly still somewhat keen on Sherry as well, but I don't know. Lockie Galvin, I really fucking wish Galvin was 5'8" in Supercoach. I would honestly go Galvin 100%. I would definitely take the potential of Galvin at 5'8", but I don't think I could justify it at halfback. Matt Burton, I guess, of note, could be out round 1. A bit of a hemi tweak. I don't think we know the severity yet, but obviously a hemi before you have to take a trip to America is not ideal. So, yeah, wait and see on Burton. I think Crichton, regardless, I think Crichton was kicking before. Yeah, he definitely kicked before Burton got injured, and I think Crichton, they're both good goal kickers. Crichton, he's a sneaky fucking good goal kicker. So, you would think Crichton would just keep goal kicking, surely, at this point. Hayward, another guy of note. I don't know. I think I am leaning towards spending a bit more on Marnie if I'm not going to go Grant. I think I've gone off Hayward. He just doesn't run the ball. Like, he literally doesn't run the ball. So, yeah, he's a tackle bot, but we'll see. Kick out Preston. Honestly, Preston, I would like Preston. It's just the fact that at the moment, my back row is looking for Feeder, Crichton, Zaio. I would love Preston, but I don't know where do you spend another 600k plus on a fourth back rower? You could. I think his base is going to be incredible with these fucking extra tackles. He's also got the try scoring. I started with him last year. He, for some reason, the first couple of rounds just was not touching the footy, was not running it. And then all of a sudden I traded him out and he went fucking bananas. So I'm sort of keen, but I don't know if I can afford him. Anyone else of note? Not particularly. I think that pretty much wraps up the doggies. But yeah, there's definitely some options there. The dogs look good. I didn't really say that. The Knights were obviously putrid, but the dogs did look good. As much as I do hate the Bulldogs, they did look good though. I can't deny that. So it has made me want to have a bit of a piece of the doggies this year. The Charity Shield, the fucking Young Rabbits getting the win over the Full Strength Dragons. This didn't bode well for the Dragons, I will say. Basically full strength, and they got beat. I mean, obviously second half, a few of their starters obviously went off, but they really shouldn't have lost this game. As I was saying, Setu 2, I think he's an absolute slam dunk as a cheapie. I think surely he's got the spot nailed down, right? He had a few issues under the high ball. He did give away a very poor try with a silly offload, but he's a good player. He's a bustler. He's a tackle buster. He puts his heart into it, so I think he's locked in. Not his best game by any means, but I think he's a very good young player. He does, under the high ball, he is a bit susceptible, but again, that's just the type of player he is. So, yeah, I think he's locked in. David Farley, he was the other guy vying for the spot, and I don't think he's necessarily set the world on fire in centres either. So it is what it is. I thought Gutherson was good in the first half, but that's Gutho. The halves, I gotta be honest, Atkinson, he probably scored okay in like Supercoach wise, because he did have that. Did he have a try or the try assist? He backed up and did he score it or pass it? I think he passed it. Yeah, he must have. Was that the early one to Gutho? I think, yeah, the early one. So he probably scored okay, but I gotta be honest, I wasn't that impressed with Atkinson. I don't know. I think I'm gonna lean towards Ethan Sanders if he is goal kicking, just because I don't know. I wasn't that impressed with Atkinson at 7. Not that he played bad, but Supercoach wise, I just wasn't really feeling too much in it. But I don't know. I think I am leaning more Sanders at this point. The forward pack, Couchman, obviously heavily involved as he is. Luciano Leilua is starting to get a bit of traction. Another one of these mid 400k guys. He does have a good role, looking fit. Again, they're all good value because the extra points they're getting from tackles. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of them. I don't think you can go too wrong if you pick up a Luciano Leilua. It looks like he is in for big minutes. Like, he played like 70 in this one. Interesting, but I don't know. It is interesting because obviously Sewer didn't play big minutes in this one. So I still think Leilua is a bit of a trap potentially, just because Sewer's locked into 80 minutes. It's just a matter of if Leilua is locked in for like 80 minutes, right? I think you need him to basically play 80 minutes. I know he scored very well, but like, I don't know. I think regardless, even if he doesn't play 80, just with the increase in stats, like, players are just going to make more money in general. So it's probably fine. You're not going to get caught out, but whether or not he's a slam dunk, we'll see. But obviously good value if he's playing 80. Then you got, Halingar, who was in the extended. Very good player. Maybe they do just give him another year, though. Ryan Couchman, is he going to be used through the middle? He's actually one guy that I could see myself taking the punt as that fourth. Is he dual tour front row forward? That I think so. I hope so. But he's like 230k. I could definitely see myself going him as that fourth guy instead of enough, because I don't know, like an injury, I could see him playing big minutes. He's not going to do like Toby Couchman numbers, but I mean, they're so similar. They play like the exact same. So I'm like, surely he can score well if he gets some good minutes. And like Blake Laurie's not going to get big minutes. Pacifici Tonga is not going to get big minutes. So I don't know. Couchman could be at long last that fourth front row forward that actually makes good cash and scores well. He could find himself into my team instead of a Nuff. I was keen on the Nuff, but I do like Ryan Couchman, so we could go him. The Rabbits, Matthew Duffy, I forgot that he came back, and I was looking at him. I looked at the name. I'm like, Matt Duffy, is that the former Dragon superstar Matt Duffy? Honestly, he was really good. He's like, I mean, I think he's pretty harshly judged. I thought he was pretty good for the Dragons for a long time. It's funny because fucking the last few years, Tyrell Sloan playing fullback, my God, you would have rathered fucking Matt Duffy over Tyrell Sloan, for God's sakes. But yeah, I thought Duffy was really good. He's a good signing for the Rabbits, honestly. Like, he wouldn't be on huge money. he is a fantastic backup. Like, and he could honestly push Jai Gray for the spot. I think obviously Jai Gray's got the spot locked up for now, but if he has a few bad games, Dufty is there and he can do a job. I think in a good team, Dufty can be very, very dangerous. Like, he's electric. He obviously has had issues defensively, under the high ball, being a small player, but like, that's Jai Gray. Like, he's Jai Gray, but like slightly more experienced and a bit more electric, maybe. I don't know. Interesting, but I think it's a great signing regardless. It's good to see him back. Penasani. It was very funny, actually. They were talking to his sister on the sidelines, and then he was getting into it with the Dragons. It was great to see. It was disappointing though, because he scored the try. He was looking really good, and then he got subbed off. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if he got an injury or something, but like, he's a young guy. I don't know why he went off in the game so early. I was looking forward to seeing the battle with Leilua and Sully. It was proving to be quite gripping, but yeah, it seemed like he, maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure he went off like after he scored that try, which was in the 20th odd minute, and then I don't think he came back on, if I remember, which is disappointing. But it's also good to see Latrell Seawalt. I mean, obviously coming through. He played a few trials at the Bronx, Queensland Cup, excitement machine. Again, probably not going to get a spot at the Rabbits unless injury crisis, but he's a good player to watch. Also disappointing, Jonah Glover, the signing from the Dragons. They let him go. Very good young player coming through. Broke his jaw very early on. Very disappointing. But again, the Rabbits, They did have Jamie Humphries on the bench, which worked out well. It worked out well. Obviously, Humphries is missing the first couple of games, so I guess they were just giving the young guys a crack at it. But yeah, very disappointing for the young guy. And then anything else of note? Not really. Yeah, it's gonna be. I gotta be honest. One guy I'm sort of losing a little bit of hope with is Brandon Smith. I'm just worried about the minutes, right? Like, I think he really needs to start, but it doesn't make sense. Like, the problem is Mamazoulis is your like rock solid guy to play big minutes, and then Brandon Smith is the impact off the bench, but that's not good for Supercoach. So Mamazoulis doesn't really work that well off the bench, I don't think, but I don't know, dude. Like, if Smith isn't starting, God, I think he could be an absolute fucking bum, but I don't know. For the price, maybe you still just go him. I honestly, I don't know. Do you spend a bit more and get a Bailey Hayward? Depends. It really depends what happens with the Rabbits, but I can see it being like Smith is starting, and then it'll be a late change on game day to Mamazoulis and Smith on the bench. Like, and then like the problem is like Smith maybe comes on as like a lock, but they got fucking Cameron Murray, they got Lockie Hubner, they got Bronson Garlick, the new recruit from the Storm, who can all play through the middle as that lock. Like, oh my god, I don't know. I'm starting to get a little bit of a worry about Brandon Smith as a pickup, but we'll see. He just needs to make a bit of cash, I guess. They're not going to play him. Moving on to the final game, Sharks, Eels. Eels were very good. Their young players, they gelled nicely. The Sharks were very disappointing. Obviously, not a whole lot of massive experience, but their forward pack is experienced, and they had a couple of good young backs. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Their forward pack was good, but they got fucking just destroyed. They got destroyed. Like, I don't know. The Eels were very good, though. The Eels were very, very good. There's not too much to say with the Sharks, honestly. Like, the forward pack, there's no one really that I think is worth a mention anyway. But yeah, the Eels, Iongi, I honestly, God, watching him, I'm like, fuck, do you go back to Iongi? Another year, Moses back. But no, I think I've cooled on that. It's just, in the moment, I was like, Will Penasini was incredibly strong. He was the captain this one. Again, another centre that you could go. He's not much of a passer though, so I mean, is his average really going to improve that much? Probably not. He's a bit of a ball hog anyway. Sean Russell was strong. The halves of Joash Papali and Jonah Pezzett, nothing noteworthy necessarily, but did his job well. He had a nice couple of kicks at goal as well. Obviously not going to goal kick with Moses, but he can kick him. But yeah, he did his job well. I think it'll be good for Supercoach wise for him playing outside of Moses as well. Like playing halfback and controlling, you don't really want a Pezzett to do at the moment for Supercoach wise, but playing outside of Moses, getting ball, I think he can score pretty well, honestly. Riley Smith was good. Honestly, the back row, now, Kelman Tuolangi, no. Kitiana Kartonga, I'm curious to see what his price is, because he'll be playing... I think he's outside of Moses, if I'm not mistaken. He's on the right, wasn't he? I got to go back and check that. But if he's at a good price, honestly, another year for Kartonga, he looked really strong. Again, I probably won't. There's a lot of like really good options that are tried and true in the back row, but I don't mind a Kartonga. I don't mind looking at Kartonga there. But yeah, not too much else. The Eels Young Guns were very good in this one. I do want to see quickly round one. Who was the other night's dummy half? I gotta see, it's still in my head in. Harrison Graham, yes, Harrison Graham and fucking Matthew Arthur. Just have those two guys in tandem at dummy half. They're very good. Thank you and good night. But no, that pretty much wraps it up. It's been a long-winded one, as it would be. We're getting into it now. We're getting into the season. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the content. Make sure to like and comment. I'll see you guys in the next one.